it is me, the first day painter, and today I'm going to try and wash this with 3 different washes, and then also apply yellow to our current models because I've put red on enough of them. I'm going to put yellow on, and then I'm going to change to a lighter colour for both. So the yellow, I'll change to using this yellow rather than this yellow. Not much difference, but it'll make the colours or edges. It'll make the higher surfaces brighter. Or that's the point. So I'm actually going to experiment with this one by putting 3 different washes on it. So these washes are all Citadel, and they're each supposed to go with a different sort of colour. So Null Nile is your basic black. This sort of orangey colour is to go on things like yellows, and then this, what's this called? Caramberg Crimson, which is a red wash, is to go on the red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Nuln on the golds, the yellow, which actually is yellow, Cassandra yellow on the yellow, and this on the red. And I'm going to put the on the head, which may need a bit more colour to it, I'm not totally sure. I'm going to use a mix of these two because I don't think I need red on there. I'm going to use a dry palette for holding them. Shouldn't need too much really, but it's more to stop me spilling things. So start with the yellow, because it doesn't matter if the lighter shades get in darker colours, because in theory they won't be as seeable. So I know it says yellow, but to me this isn't orange. But I suppose darker areas of yellow do sometimes come out orange. So it's not really going on the dry palette very well. I'm going to use the dry palette for getting paint off the paintbrush, and then I'm just going to have the. Let me just quickly show you this. I'm going to have the paint in the middle, and then I'm going to use the palette for taking paint off the brush, should I need to. Because I'm pretty sure the point, and I didn't do a very good job of this before, I'm pretty sure the point of shades is to essentially drown your stuff. So I'll only be doing one shade area, cleaning the brush, and then moving on to the yellow. But let's start with this. So and this is the model I haven't put any shade on before. I want to let the shade look good on it, but I don't want to put too much on it. I don't want to start pulling it off. Yellow is also the smallest area, which in theory makes it better doing this with. So I've put way too much on the back, but I'm going to take it off. I have time to take it off, fortunately, seeing as I'm technically drowning it, and therefore it shouldn't dry too quickly. So to take that paint off, I half feel like I should have a third camera looking at my paint desk. But I really don't. I have this on I have the main camera on a tripod, which is taking up half of my desk space already. Also, I'm not sure I actually have the USB ports for it. I don't want to take too much of this away, but I don't want it to be heavy. Or as heavy as it is. Don't think I did this right. I think the problem with trying to use a wet palette, dry palette, is that I can't really pour out from the pot. I can, but not as well. So I've taken some of the stuff off the back. I need to take some more off this front, because I think that's what I suffered from last time. I let these points at the beginning take too much colour. Get too dark, but it is supposed to be allowed, so I'm just going to leave it now. I've taken the major blobs off it. This will probably get too dark, in all honesty. But it'll be interesting to see what happens, because you can sort of see. I can't see that camera. The yellow is going into the grease. It's not going as well as it could, so I'm just going to drag it back out slightly. We'll see how that dries. So I'm just gonna put that there, clean my brush, make sure the shade is closed, and move on to some yellow painting on the other models. Because it's shade, this should come out quite quickly. Because it's already quite liquidy. It's not quite gone out, but black from the normal oil didn't come out very much either. I'm half tempted to put all of the shades on now rather than wait. I'm going to wait. Give it a little bit of time to start drying. So I'm half worried if I put more shades on I'm going to pull the shade off. But the next one will be the red. So anyway, let's get some yellow. Make sure I've got the right brush. Make sure my brushes are okay. We're doing okay for now. But the colours were kind of expected. I forgot to start 30-minute timer. Oh well. Because I kind of want to use the I don't want to really use the timer anymore. I want to be able to just paint freely. Or a bit more freely. Didn't really have to add that. I'm re-wetified my palette, which is quite obvious when I move this paint. This is going to be very thin paint. Indeed. which might cause issues. It might help my control, but it'll cause issues because the colour won't come back as easily. But I sort of saw that happening because I made I reinvigorated my wet palette a bit too much. So start with this one. So you can see what I mean on this model where the dark Nuln sat too heavy in certain areas. In some areas it was quite good. It really makes those shadows look like shadows when you turn the thing. It might be better if I'd used the correct colour shade, but I went for Nuln for everybody but the one I've just done. So it's interesting to see. Because my yellow's quite light, I might put a little bit over that just to take away a bit of the edge of it. And by that I mean that lip there. Apologies for the missed stream last week. Not stream, video. I don't stream. But I came down with COVID and basically I had no energy. And although I'm going to try and change the practice so I actually do have some of these in reserve, I do not have painting miniature reserve recordings. Because in part I'm always doing them late. Although I like doing them just beforehand, but also I need a little bit of a backlog because if I get sick or if I go on holiday, I still want to be able to put them out. Although I could always just say I'm not doing one this week. But I'm half worried if I stop, I'll lose the momentum for them. The paint I put on the palette is basically non-existent now. I've changed my audio. Or I tried changing my audio the other day. Recordings. You might pick it up on the later Deflate ones. But I went back to. So I like to try and change things. I was trying to make it so you could hear me when I scream. Rather, at the moment, if I get too loud, basically my volume goes. You can tell that my audio's lowering itself, and to the point where eventually you can't hear me if I've gone too loud, so it sort of stops you getting earache from me screaming. Not that I should be screaming, but I might start shouting suddenly. I don't really want to cause discomfort. But I thought maybe you could still hear it and tried changing a few settings again. And I don't know what I changed, but it meant that you could hear the game audio being picked up by my microphone from my headphones. Now, if I've cut myself off okay on this image, you won't see it, but I'm basically just outside of the shot of this main camera, and it's like a shelf above my computer screens, height-wise, and my microphone's on top of there, but it's also like behind the current camera you're watching. It is zoomed in a bit, but it isn't. It shouldn't have been picking up my headphones unless my headphones were really loud, but it only picked up the high, like the shouting and stuff, or really high points in the audio, so I'm like confused as to where it bled from. It didn't cause too much of an issue in that it like made the audio unbearable, but it meant when, like, indefinitely, when Juliana was speaking, you were basically hearing an echo, or a reverb, rather, to the voice, which meant it was basically weird to listen to. And I see that as the person who had to edit it. So hopefully I've managed to edit some of that reverb out. I would be watching a video right now to try and test it, but I just know my train of thought would wander and I'd probably start watching the video rather than painting. I'm not sure this paint has much life in it at times. I got that a bit too close to the end. And I mean that because the pot lid is not always got lots of paint in it. I'll do this one and then I'll see how dry that shade is and try and do another shade. So like I said, I'm going to be doing a different colour of yellow on these models. And basically what that means is, so, I mean, I'm not really doing a very good job, but you're basically supposed to do the bigger areas with the first layer, and then do those same areas, but take away a little of the area you're doing. So in that case it would be, I do most of this except for the edge, and then I do like just a small little bit. So it's like, it's supposed to define the shapes and shadows by making it so that there's areas where the light is hitting more, hence why there's more colour in that zone. So yeah, I can understand the theory behind stuff, but getting it to work is always funny. And like I said, these are my first real models I'm doing this on. I don't think I've ever really painted models in this way. I think I've slapped colours on and then left it be. I think I painted for horses. Because I got the Lord of the Rings thing. And I did not do them well. Actually, I'm not even entirely sure I painted the horses. I definitely painted the bases. A nice flat green. Goodness knows if I actually painted anyone. I'm trying to get rid of them because I don't care, and I'm not going to use them. I could technically use because I got the magazine version. I can technically make a scene around a coffin. I think it's in the underground place where the Balrog gets met. Oh no, it's the place they fight the troll, I think. Right. Let's try the next wash. Again, because I made I made the paint quite watery, it should come off the brush much better, or much easier, which makes keeping them clean easier. which means they should stay decent for a good period of time. One of the reasons I feel like I should have a camera on my desk and looking at my work desk is because you end up with these periods where I'm not doing anything visibly on camera. You can hear me doing stuff, and I can say I'm doing stuff, but am I doing stuff? Who knows? Right, that brush needs a better clean, really, but I should be using it again. So let's pick this up. But you can, I think it was quite obvious. You can see the difference. This one has the same basic model, and you can see the difference between using the null oil on it. This has had a bit of yellow put back in, and using this yellow, and that is slightly, it's in part it keeps the yellow colour rather than becoming like a muddy colour. But it makes the shadows more in line with the shadow of the colour rather than just it's really dark kind of shadow. Anyway, this, and it is the Carolberg Crimson, which I'll be dabbing. Oh, excuse me. Which will be going all over this cloak. And a little bit on the, although it doesn't really need it, it'll be going on the shoulder pad as well. So yeah, it's like you can get different colours, so you can get ones that are more in line with. Not sure if there is another red. There probably is. Which this is kind of like a purpley red or maroon, I guess. So there might be one that's more of a reddy red, which would probably be better for, say, doing blood effects. Put it in the middle of the tub. Put away brushes. Oh. Ah, I missed doing the person's hair. But this should really pick up these little nips that are on the sides of the model. Let's get the paint off the brush and take some of the pooled areas off. Yeah, you can see on here more of the purpley red. So I think it'll be fine in there. It's here on the back that I need to take some of this off. So it's just put the brush. To take all of it back up. It'll dry darker in some areas, and that's not too bad. I think that might not be the best place for it to... let it gravitate, let it gravitate. It will decide where the best place for it is. I just don't want it cooling wrong. I'll learn with time what cooling wrong looks like. So that's... I think I'll just null the head. So... that's the better side. Yeah, you can see it's sort of drying already. Excuse me again. So, close the lid on that. Clean my brush and move on back to the yellows. I should be on the back link now. I can always put more null oil in if I decide that it's too bright still. More shade on, sorry. Oops, my brush is not behaving. Sometimes my eyes see things differently to the camera, and the camera makes things look worse in some areas. So, like, it really showed off how bad the null oil went. And it makes it quite patchy, but also it sometimes catches things much better than my eyes do. I think it catches the shade sometimes better. Sometimes it doesn't, right? So a little bit in there. Just to get rid of that ever so slight edge. Different colour. And this is where that yellow will do. The yellow wash would have done a much better job of shading it without making it look too much like I've put black in this zone. My brush is misbehaving and splaying quite quickly, which, seeing as I'm trying to do delicate, sort of precise-ish lines, actually no, I want to take some of that yellow, put it in here, take away some of the dark. Seeing as I'm trying to hit just the ridges and not inside, having a brush that is coming apart and not keeping its tip nice and neat. It's making it ever so slightly awkward.
Thank you for sticking through to the end of this video, and if you like what you saw and want some more, why not hit the like button, maybe subscribe, and then check out one of the videos or playlists soon popping up on the screen. Or just head over to the channel for even more options. Already subscribed? Then hit the bell icon here or on the channel and get notified when new videos go live. As well as being here, you can also find us over on Twitter and Instagram. Links are provided in the description below. But either way, it's bye for now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.